Coach, obviously a big week here. This is kind of what the 6 teams in the WAC that qualified for the tournament here are playing for. How do you kind of keep the good times rolling here, heading in on a 3-game winning streak, and how do you sustain that momentum heading into arguably the most important week of the year here?
Yeah, it's a critical time of year for everybody. March Madness is upon us. Brings back unfriendly memories from last year when the pandemic hit and college basketball was eventually shut down. But it looks like, for the most part, the conference tournaments are going off with a few mishaps here or there, with some teams not being able to participate because of COVID issues in their program. And you got to keep your fingers crossed that way for your program that you can get to that point. And knock on wood, so far so good. So just trying to clean up some issues with our team. Got 3 days of practice before we play, and obviously trying to stay healthy at the same time, both with COVID and our physical bodies. And then trying to put ourselves in position to win on Thursday.
How did the team look in practice today?
They were pretty good. First of all, I apologize for the tardiness. Our schedule got a little zany, and I hate doing that. So please, it wasn't intentional. But they were in good spirits. Yesterday was an off day. Work on their bodies. We had some tweaks and just trying to get their bodies feeling better. Didn't even watch video at all. Just let them have a day off. And then obviously today was a regular work day, and they were pretty good. They were pretty good, pretty focused. They had a good energy. But I think everybody does at this time of the year that's trying to win. So that was, for our coaching staff's perspective, that's kind of what we expected.
Coach, with as much traveling as your team has done, do you feel any concern of fatigue or anything such heading into the tournament with all the traveling, everything you've been through with COVID, staying in Arizona, and now getting put in a situation where you'll spend a few days in Vegas?
I'm not really thinking about it. You can't control that at this point. Not something we talk about as a staff or as a program. I think when they tip the ball on Thursday and hopefully Friday, that'll be the furthest thing from our minds. Everybody else, has got their own issues due to COVID, and some people travel more than others. So it is what it is. So I don't think that'll have any bearing on the outcome of the games.
Coach, would you say this team is playing their best basketball of the season?
Yeah, I think this particular team, I think that's probably pretty valid that we are playing our best basketball of the season. I wish I had another 7 to 10 days because we're coming. They're getting better. People that follow us game in and game out can probably see it as well. We're starting to figure some things out. The defense is getting a little tougher, a little more stout. Our offensive rhythm and understanding how we need to play for this particular team to be successful on that end of the court is getting better as well. But some years I'm dying to get to the finish line because we are playing well. It's time. This year I wish we had a little more time, but we don't. And that's just how it works. The calendar says it's time to go to Vegas, and obviously we're going to go there and try to put our best foot forward. But it feels good knowing that we're playing better. And I think they're more confident in each other. They're more confident in us as a whole that we can go down there and win this tournament. And that's obviously the goal.
Chris, early on the season, you said that there was a little bit of a struggle of trusting new guys or trusting, players and stuff like that. How do you feel now after all, that you've been through, and now you're playing your best basketball basically the season?
Well, I feel better. We've had a game experience now. We've tried to insert some guys to get them the required game experience that they need to learn and grow and help our program. But I kind of alluded to it earlier. I wish we had another week or 10 days and maybe a couple more games because it's coming, but it'd be nice to have some more experience. But a lot of teams would hope for that this time of the year, especially when you didn't have as many preseason games, and we're no different than a lot of teams in that respect. But definitely have more trust. I think again, if you follow us game to game, we're playing more guys than we were early in the season, and having guys in late in the game when the score is still in balance that normally, not normally, but earlier in the season we did it. So again, that's a good thing, because of knock on wood foul issues or an ankle or what have you, to feel like you can handle some situations like that and maybe not have, your best five or your starters or whatever the case may be in their stretch run of a close game. So I think the confidence is brimming right now, and definitely it's more than we've had all year long.
Talent-wise, do you think that your team is the best talent-wise in the WAC?
I don't know if I could say that, but I think we have enough talent. I think we're in the same area code as anybody else in the league. I think we've got as good a shot as anybody else to win the WAC tournament. I wouldn't have said that a month ago, but I'm more confident now than I ever have been. I think our team is too, but there's a lot of teams that probably feel the same way. There's a lot of teams that feel like they can go to Vegas and win it. And I'm sure if you ask that question to other programs, their answer would be, yeah, we got the most talent, or we're right there head to head with another program or two. And we definitely feel, we have enough talent to get it done. It's just how well we're going to play. It's going to be a pressurized situation. It's win or, win and advance, or lose and go home. And we've been talking about it a lot in the last 7 to 10 days, trying to get our guys to feel that even in practice and how critical each possession is. And it's definitely in these last weekend's games, we wanted them to feel that. I can't speak for them. Hopefully they did a little bit. It's just always nice to try to put them in that position to see how they're going to react and get them to understand, how they're going to feel. And it's not perfect. It's not going to be the Orleans. It's not going to be the WAC tournament situation, but you try to do the best you can.
Just looking at the CTRGV matchup, you guys just recently played them. What were some things looking over this film that you think you guys can build off of?
Well, every time you play them, you better take care of the basketball. They're so good at turning you over and creating offense from their defense. They got a lot of quick, hard-playing guys that get after the ball, and they get a lot of deflections. And in the past, they've always switched up their defenses and give you a lot of looks. They haven't been doing as much lately, but I think you got to prepare for it because we know it's in their arsenal. And they play a lot of guys. They play a lot of guys, so the scouting report is full of guys. You got to make sure everybody understands who they're guarding, who they're defending at all times, regardless of position. So first and foremost, it's just pass and catch, taking care of the ball, trying to play inside out, and then just not letting their depth, overwhelm you.
Any other questions here for Coach this afternoon, guys?
Yes, I have one. Do you feel like you entered the tournament with any kind of edge, knowing what it takes and having won this tournament multiple times before?
I hope our experience helps. We've got plenty of guys in our program that have cut those nets down, and that's got to count for something. There are a lot of coaches that have won championships in that building. We've been there, done that. In life, you can't teach experience, but it's going to take more than that. That maybe is a factor if there's, an alphabet of factors, but I don't think it's a huge percentage of it. But certainly, I'd rather have it than not, because we know what it's going to feel like. We know what it takes to win down there. But we're, on the end of the day, we're going to tip the ball, and the team that plays the best for 40 minutes is going to win in advance, and we're going to try to do our best to do that.
Coach, with the expectations last week, just kind of you guys in the 3 seed. I know for us, the guys that cover the team, does it feel in any sense with being that 3 and not winning the regular season title, with the success you guys have had, and especially us watching sort of Grand Canyon have this extravagant celebration on Saturday, winning the WAC regular season? Is there any anger, I guess, playing angry, kind of like a fire that you're sensing with the guys going into WAC Vegas?
I don't feel that way. You know, we've had to accept the fact that we weren't going to win the regular season championship weeks ago. You know, that was out of the equation math-wise. So it wasn't a lot of fun to accept that at all. But, you know, it's out of our control now. We have nothing to do with that. We weren't in the race going down the stretch. You know, it's disappointing. It's always a goal of ours. You know, we've won 3 straight since we've arrived, and it's something we're proud of. Certainly disappointed that we weren't able to secure a regular season championship again. But at the end of the day, you know, the ultimate goal for every program is still out there. It's still within our grasp. And, you know, we try to play really, really hard all the time. You know, I don't think there's any extra motivation that's required. Everybody knows what's on the line. And all that stuff sounds good and it reads good. But again, when you're out there playing, you're not thinking about who won the regular season championship. You're not thinking about any sort of celebration anybody else had or didn't have. You're just trying to win the darn game and advance to the next round. And, you know, there's plenty of motivation. I mean, everybody knows, you know, what's at stake. And that's definitely enough motivation to get everybody to play really, really hard.
Anything else here for Coach this afternoon?
Charlie's trying to get me out of here, man.
Coach, I'm actually making the drive up there tomorrow, and my music playlist isn't nearly as long as it needs to be. So any recommendations, podcasts, bands, something to help pass the time?
Man, I'm not even tracking on that right now. I don't have a playlist. I haven't been listening to anything. I've been just working on my team and trying to get us to the finish line and try to make sure we're COVID-free and living quite the hermit life. And I'm glad you're going to be there. Sounds like it's going to be limited capacity. That'll be, for us, it'll feel awesome. I'm looking forward to that. You know, we're going to have 125 Aggie fans there. And I think for our guys, it's going to feel like 10,000. You know, we haven't had that all year long. And I think that could be an advantage for us. You know, we haven't been cheered for. We haven't had a crowd urging us on. And we're going to hear our crowd. We play well enough to give them something to cheer about. We're going to get to hear our crowd for the first time all year long. And I think our kids, we haven't talked about it, but it's in the back of my mind. And I think it could help. I think it could help. I think it's going to make it more fun. And again, it's only 125, but you know, I think it's going to feel and sound like a lot more.
Coach, you see Trev drop 35 points for RGV the other day?
Yeah, I don't have to see it. Our players talk about it all the time. We love following him. We love following all our guys that played, you know, here, especially the ones that, you know, have been here recently that we know a little bit better. But it's just a lot of joy in watching those guys succeed and rooting them on. And, you know, he still communicate with a lot of those guys, man. Like he's coming to Vegas. He told me he needed a ticket. So I got him on my ticket list. Hopefully he shows up. But, you know, he's doing well. He's doing well.
Coach, if you were able to win the WAC tournament and our county has made it to some type of level, yellow or green, would you like to have some type of fan appreciation award if that happens?
It's never crossed my mind. You know, I leave that up to people that are smarter than me and get paid to do that stuff. I'm just trying to win some basketball games, man.
Any final thoughts for Coach here this afternoon, everybody?
Again, sorry for the tardiness. I appreciate you guys working with me. I think you guys know it's not my style, but we had a crazy day, so I appreciate your patience. Thanks.
Appreciate it, Coach.